and we'll call the meeting to order at 6:05. And I'll start with the statement that we have to read since this is a virtual meeting.
I'm prepared to do that if you'd like.
What's that?
I am prepared to read that if you would like.
Okay, go for it.
Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General or GLC 30, you gotta tell me what those really are. 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15th order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of the Westborough Spirit Committee will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website at www.town.westborough.ma.us. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen, watch the meeting may do so in the following manner. A recording of the meeting will be posted with Westborough TV. Really? No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately assess the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post an audio or video recording, transcript or comprehensive record of proceedings.
I am so sorry.
As soon as possible after the meeting.
Perfect.
I do have I know you're joking, Gary, but I do have a little update on these postings.
We're actually not joking. I think it's wrong. It says that we're going to do it and we don't.
Well, we do. It's just a process. So Westborough TV, they are, I think, underwater. And I'm only saying that because I finally talked to them and they had to send me a Microsoft Teams drive, and I was having trouble with it. And they said, I would send you our Google Drive, but it's full. And I didn't even think Google Drives could get full. So every board and committee is using them. So I just uploaded today all of the previous recordings, and he said he would have a YouTube link for me but early next week. Excellent. And in the meantime, all the minutes I have copies of them, but they're all recorded in the town clerk's office as well. So that's where we're at with that. I had asked before, but like I said, I just think that every board and committee has to do this. And so they're getting asked, and I don't know how many people are working on it. I know Karen and Jeff Poole, those are the only two people that I know, but I think that they are pretty slammed. But it's happening, and we'll have a YouTube link early next week. And I know that was off agenda, but I did want to update everybody.
Thanks, Jen.
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Roberta, we just called the meeting to order and read the statement. So if you want to start on the agenda, we're ready to go.
Okay. I thank you, Jen, I just got the tail end of that. I know that Alan said something about we're going to get a Facebook page on the Spirit Committee, and they were going to come out and tell me that, but they never did. So they're probably still working on it, Jen. And then we're going to have, whenever it's going to come out, then we're going to have a Spirit Committee page. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm sure you guys are all looking forward as well. Did we approve the minutes?
Not yet.
Okay, so let's approve the minutes.
Gary, you're muted.
I move to approve the minutes as submitted.
I'll second that.
Okay. All set.
This is where you say any discussion?
Any discussion? I'm sorry. No discussion. So the minutes are great. Thank you.
I think we need to vote to accept the minutes.
Yeah, a roll call vote usually.
Yeah.
So Kirkland, yeah.
Did I get?
So you need to call on each of us for our vote.
Maureen?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
Perfect. And me, yes.
And Winnie.
Winnie?
Yes. Yes.
I didn't. Hi, Winnie. How are you?
Yes,
and yourself.
And myself. I'm sorry, my mind is with Dad right now. So, okay, so we were talking about the virtual Thanksgiving, and I like the idea. I think we all like the ideas. We can kind of talk about that tonight if you guys like, or we can discuss other things that we can do virtually, obviously. What do you guys think?
Was there something with Westborough Connects that we were supposed to discuss?
I think Westborough Connects wanted to do, we first had it, Jen. We first had the idea, and then Kelley and Hina, they said something about it as well. Have a big virtual Thanksgiving and give thanks and praise. And I don't know what they really want to do with it, but they were kind of with us on what we were going to do, right, Gary?
Yes, I would just submit that we had a big meeting, and I walked away from the meeting with the thought that the Westborough Connects people, which ironically everyone on this call except Jenn Kirkland is a part of Westborough Connects,
right?
That Westborough Connects was going to do something.
Mm-hmm.
And the thoughts were along the lines of, have a call out to people. You
right.
have a list of people that you call and hey Jen, it's Thanksgiving. How are you? Isn't it a wonderful day? And just try to engage and make sure that the folks on the other end of the call know that someone cares, etc. There was talk about doing a like a Zoom room that people could dial or hook into at some point during Thanksgiving. I don't know where any of that's gone though. I mean, those were the kinds of things that were talked about.
Right.
What's the call, Maureen, tomorrow? Is that Westborough Connects? Are you getting on that call that Kara had sent, or am I on a different page? That tomorrow morning at 8, it was something about it was about Thanksgiving, and maybe it's more about meals.
It was about
Thanksgiving, and I'm not sure what it is exactly. So I have it in my calendar to be there to find out what it is.
Same. Okay.
So
we as a committee don't need to plan or execute anything if Westborough Connects already has something in the works, and Youth and Family Services may have something in the works also. Right. So we don't really need to duplicate, but it would be good for us to find out how we can help and support and publicize whatever it is that they're doing.
Right.
It's just an observation. I don't know how we deal with it, but it seems like there are so many people and groups in town that are trying to do good things,
right,
that at some point coordination becomes an issue. I'm on the board of Westborough Connects. I have no idea what they're doing for this. I think that the Spirit Committee, based on that meeting, we were kind of nudged out a little bit, and that's fine. But now Youth and Family Services is stepping forward. So from my perspective, not related specifically to Thanksgiving, I think there's still a discussion that this group needs to have about what's our role and how do we go about providing value to the townspeople, because it seems so many of the places where the Spirit Committee has kind of helped out in the past have now been picked up by town functions.
Well, I think he said, sorry, Roberta, I think Maureen said it, and it was at the meeting. It was at the meeting I wasn't at. But I think you put it perfectly, that we're not service-based, we're event. So I feel like Thanksgiving definitely falls into a service. I mean, in normal times you can do events and have parties and stuff, but I think for this year, it's definitely falling into the service category, which definitely is Youth and Family Services mission. And I don't know a ton about Westborough. I feel like Westborough Connects that kind of fits more, and we're more like party planners basically.
Right.
That I think what Thanksgiving might feel like we're getting nudged out, and almost maybe rightfully so, because we're not service based. But that's just kind of my.
Well, we did the Thanksgiving for 50 years, the Knights of Columbus with my family. And the task force came to me to ask me after I canceled the whole event because of the COVID-19, and I didn't want to endanger anybody's lives. And now we're in the increase of it. So I canceled it. So the task force came after me asking me, what do you think about serving with Elma? Which I thought it was a great idea, which Elma already had a game plan in the first place. So I wanted to help out. And then of course I can't because of my dad's situation right now. But that's when Westborough Connect came in, and I liked their ideas, but I knew I couldn't do it. And I knew that if I stepped, that's the problem, everyone. If we step on each other's toes, somebody's going to get hurt in all these organizations and committees. And that's why I think that Gary did say we have to have a clear cut. And Jen just said, we're basically party people, like trying to get the fireworks going, when COVID is gone, hopefully soon. Fireworks, block parties, entertainment, anything for people to come together and have fun. That's what I think of what the Spirit Committee should be doing, and stay on that path.
Yeah, that's more of our mission than things that are more service-based. So Holiday Stroll is a perfect example of something that we should be very involved with, more event-based than service-based.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely the Holiday Stroll when the block party comes up. We can definitely talk about the Holiday Stroll. I don't know if there was more to talk about for Thanksgiving.
Winnie, you still there, sweet girl?
Oh, I'm here. I'm always here.
What do you think? I'd like to hear from you.
I think we probably needed to clarify with Westborough Connect what they are having in 3 weeks, and go from there, because without knowing what they are going to do, it's hard for us to figure out how to provide help and involve. My originally suggestion, as we discussed in the previous meeting, was to have a online Zoom gather. And if this has already been suggested or by Westborough Connect, then we don't need to, propose that anymore, because they already have it. It's just a matter of how we can help. But if they haven't have that thought, but they have other things, we need to kind of find out what is it. I'm not particularly aware of what Westborough Connect will be doing. So I guess it will be good to find out what they are doing soon, because I think it's 2 weeks or so from now. Yeah.
It's sneaking around the corner.
Yeah. I know everyone's busy, but I may be able to have time, like even closer to Thanksgiving, and if calls or emails need to be made and discussion needs to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Winnie.
Sure, yeah, thank you.
Gary?
Oh, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make the motion that Roberta, as the chair of the Spirit Committee, reach out to Westborough Connect and ask if there's anything that they need support on that the Spirit Committee can help with.
Okay.
And I don't think it needs to be that's my motion. I don't think it needs to be formal big meeting, but I think drop them an email and ask, I think is more than appropriate.
Okay. I have no problem with that.
Well, I think that the question is there a second? And then we should vote on that motion.
I'll second that.
I'm trying to help Jen with the minutes.
Okay. Okay, so now we need to do a vote. So Roberta,
Well, any discussion? That's first.
The discussion, because to me the discussion should come like right after the motion, but that's just my opinion.
I thought, but okay, any discussion? Okay, now we can vote.
So you have to call on each of us again.
Maury?
Yes.
Jen?
Yep.
Winnie? Winnie?
Yes.
Thank you. Gary?
Yep.
Okay.
And you, Roberta?
Myself. Yes.
Okay.
To get used to this on the Zoom calls, because I'm usually seeing all of you and I forget all the rules when I'm behind this phone for some odd reason.
Are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone.
I think if you slide to a different screen, you could actually see all of us in micro size.
Yeah, if you swipe or something.
I'll swipe. Here we go.
Yeah.
I see you now. There you go.
That's going to make all the difference in the meeting, I'm sure.
Well, okay, so I will contact them tomorrow. I know I can't go to the meeting, but I'll reach out to Hina or Kelley and we'll see what we can do about it. Now we can go to the winter stroll.
All of the winter stroll, right?
Yeah.
Well, so last week, when we were there was a miscommunication about the meeting times. Jim O'Connor from the Rotary actually jumped on. So we had an informal discussion with him while he was on Zoom. Gary was there and Roberta was there as well. Just to be clear, we didn't make any decisions or anything. We just were discussing. But what we had brought up was the possibility of, instead of a parade down West Main Street, like normal, we would do perhaps a standing parade up at the state hospital, where vehicles would be lit up and parked in the state hospital, and residents would drive through the state hospital, never getting out of their cars to see the lights and just go on their way. And, I kind of told Jim that'd be a chance for the Rotary to, have Santa Claus there. Obviously no visits or anything, but Santa Claus could be outside waving and doing whatever. So we kind of hemmed and hawed about that a little bit. Rotary is still doing putting lights on the trees, and they're due to be lit up on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. But the little discussion that we did have, people still kind of felt like that maybe having that standing parade, especially with numbers going up, still might be a little risky. But I think we should talk about it here to see what everybody.
I think that's a good summarization. And Chris Bakutis at Mugford's approached me a couple of days ago. I happened to be there picking up balloons for Elliot Rittenberg's 65th birthday party. And she said, why don't we do something in town? And I'm throwing this out there as an alternative to doing nothing, okay? Why don't we do something in town where we let people register their home and let people drive around and look at their home or look at their decorations in that way? I personally don't want to get into that works for people that have green trees and not for people that don't have green bushes, Hanukkah bushes and all. That wasn't where she was going. What she was saying is, isn't there something we can do in town where no one's exposed, no one's at risk. They drive around, and maybe at the end there's a prize of some kind. And I passed that thought to Roberta yesterday at her father's parade, And, I was thinking in terms of maybe what we do is we get some numbers made up, yard stakes, this is entry number 1, this is entry number 5, that kind of stuff. Give people kind of a path to drive, and then let them compile their votes somehow, as an alternative to doing nothing.
Yeah, I've heard of other towns doing something similar. Maybe not a contest, but it's just at the very least a map or a list of like, hey, if you want to go look at lights, here are houses that are doing lights.
Well, Chris had it from the perspective, and I want to give Chris credit for the idea. Chris had it from the perspective of making it something that was a contest, therefore fun. But that's as far as the discussion went.
No, I like it. I'm assuming this wouldn't just be on one night. It would be, hey, register by this day. And then we kind of just publicize, hey, here's the list of houses, go at your leisure. But if you want to vote by this day.
That works. I like that.
So we're going to have prizes in this? Gary, did she say anything about prizes?
She suggested a prize. Now, she didn't suggest what the prize would be, nor did she suggest that she was offering a prize. I need to be clear on that.
Okay.
And as far as I'm concerned, the prize could be bragging rights. And, I wish we had a Facebook page for this group, but we don't. So maybe we get some of the other groups in town to publicize who the winner is.
Right.
Let the library put up who the winner is, and Heart of Westborough put up who the winner is, and that kind of stuff, and make it bragging rights. I don't think that everything needs to be, materialistically oriented.
Right. All right, we can get some more details on it, Gary, and see what. Sorry, Jen.
No, I was going to say, just looking at the dates, I think it's a really good idea. And I've just noticed, yeah, I agree that even the prize is just, hey, you won. I think is fine. I think is good. Even just the rec is doing this silly little, it's not, people are taking it very seriously, that this turkey scavenger hunt, and people are having a lot of fun with it. And I've been telling them how I'm going to do the prizes, and people are really like, we don't care. Like, this was just fun to do something. It's something like, especially in these times, I think in normal times, yeah, get an incentive, but people are starting to, this has been a long year, and just anything that we can do to bring some joy to people, I think people would appreciate. Mm-hmm. So even if just having a list of houses, hey, these are the lights. Yeah. Throw in like, send up if you want to vote for the best house, great. But I think more it's the, go look at lights. People, I'm sure there's people that have really good setups.
They're already starting to decorate now. It's really bro.
Because I'm just thinking, if we really did want to do, hey, register your house and then have it available for the month of December, I feel like time is moving.
That's right. It is moving fast. I agree.
Because Gary, I'm understanding that, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of the business, but they weren't necessarily saying they wanted to do it. They were hoping that like we would do it, right? We don't need to wait.
It's Chris at Mugford's Flower Shop.
Okay.
Okay. And it was her suggestion. She was not saying that she wanted to do it. In fact, I don't think she wants to do it.
Okay.
I think that she was saying, can't we do anything in town that's kind of fun? And I can't argue that. And at the same time, we all recognize it's COVID, but that was a twist on, I know that the pushback at the last non-meeting, I say that with a smile, was about people congregating together. This was an opportunity that, households could do their decorating, whatever. That's not a violation of anything. And then people drive around in their cars. That's not a violation of anything. I think even Governor Baker would like that. So I say that tongue in cheek, but I think it's something that we could put some stakes in the ground on and have some fun with.
Yeah. Ashland just did it for Halloween. There was a map that was put out by a community group of like all the houses that were decorated for Halloween. and we drove around all of them and it was fun. I'm just looking at the calendar because I feel like if that was why I asked. So, I mean, we could probably, between all of us, just set a cut dates and start pushing this out if we don't have to wait for Chris. And it sounds like she doesn't even want to do it, which is totally fine.
No, I think my guess is she'll decorate her business, but I don't think she wants to be the driving force behind this. It was just her. It was actually, to be clear, she was giving me the suggestion because Roberta and I run the Heart of Westborough Facebook page. So she was pushing it towards the Heart of Westborough. It's something to do, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. Roberta and I could do something there, but I was thinking that it might make more sense for the Spirit Committee to do something in lieu of the holiday stroll.
Absolutely.
The winter stroll, sorry.
I like it. So maybe we could just push it out starting now and give people till the December 1st to register, and then have something out the week by December 7th of, hey, these are all the houses that are decorated. Submit your vote by December 31st.
We can start public. I like that.
Okay.
So does that need to be in the form of a motion?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Maury?
I don't think so. I think we are all pretty much in agreement that we're going to plan this little event.
Do you want to use a Google form, or do you want to use the rec website for registrations? I'm not trying to push rec. It's an easy platform that people do know about, but we can absolutely just use a link to a Google form if that's better for people.
We can do the rec, Jen. I have no problem with that, as long as everybody else is comfortable with that as well.
I think rec is fine since people already are comfortable using it and it's easy to find it, and they know.
Okay. And since we don't really have a website too, it's at least there'll be a page that kind of has all the details on it that we can refer to. Okay, so I can set that up on the rec website.
Okay.
And then what about voting?
So when we did the scarecrows, and I'm not really even recommending this because I'm still on the fence of how I feel about it. I had Mark, that's the IT director in town, set up a separate email account, scarecrows@town.westborough, and people were voting for their scarecrows via that email address, but it came to my inbox, and I don't think I loved it. It got mixed in with my other emails, but I did it that way because he said creating a whole separate email box takes away a license or something. So I think for voting, if we wanted to go the email route, maybe setting up even just like a Gmail, but I don't know if that's allowed actually, now I'm thinking about it.
Or we could do a Google form for voting.
Oh yeah, someone suggested that to me, to the scarecrows. Okay.
Google form.
Then it's not going to anybody's inbox.
Yeah.
Compiles it on a spreadsheet, and it's easy to sort and figure out who the winner is.
We need to make sure that we are very clear on what the cutoff is and how we're counting those votes.
We're clear.
Also, on the Google Forms, we need to make sure that not anybody can change, by accident. Like if they're marking something, like by error, like they mark something else, or I'm not sure about how we connect those. Is it gonna still go to somebody, and then some of us count, or how does that?
So we would all have access to it, and only our email addresses would be allowed to mess around with it. So if you were to get it emailed to you, you wouldn't be able to edit it at all. You could only vote.
Oh, that's
I like that idea.
Okay.
We'll definitely use the Google form.
Good. So it's something. I think it's good.
I like the idea. We're gonna
Jen, when the thing in Ashland happened, did they have yard signs with numbers or anything like that? No.
No, we just went around some houses had candy. I mean, some houses were more into it than others, as you can imagine, which is, I'm sure will happen here. It was really more just, I don't know, I probably broke COVID rules, but I was with my sister-in-law and her 2 kids, my daughter, and we just drove around in the car and we're silly, and it was a lot of fun.
My God, she broke COVID rules.
I did. Well, no, she's been in my bubble, my sister-in-law, so I felt safe.
No, let's make sure that you quarantine for 2 weeks now.
Oh, here we go.
That was a month ago. I'm safe.
Gary and COVID rules. You're good.
No, this is a sidebar conversation, but I have had a number of people that I have been close to during COVID that have come up positive. So right. I'm like really sensitive to it now, whereas before I was borderline laissez-faire about it.
Yeah, it is scary. Unfortunately, the numbers are climbing, and we all have to protect each other until, I just pray to God we don't go back to a lockdown, as I've been hearing lately on the news. So hopefully we just keep on wearing our masks and follow the rules and just pray to God that we can jump over the hurdles. But what we're proposing and what we're saying about the lights and everything else, I think that's great. I wanted to drop turkeys and throw turkeys, frozen turkeys at people's houses. I was getting to be kind of like, what am I going to do? What is the Spirit Committee going to do? What is the Heart of Westborough going to do? Gary and I were talking about it, WKRP in Cincinnati, when
they did their turkey. They did their turkey toss out of a helicopter.
Exactly. Johnny Fever. What was his name?
Johnny Fever was the the DJ, and Les Nesmith was the newsman with the Ohio Buckeye Award.
Right.
Not that I'm from Ohio.
I kind of like that idea. But that's not
throwing live turkeys out of a helicopter.
That's it. I'm going to put you up.
Turkeys don't fly. That was the problem, if you recall.
I know. I'm just teasing with you. Does anybody else have a great ideas or want to bring to the table, or anything that you guys were thinking about? I know it's hard because we're going through this COVID right now, but I like to hear from all of you. If you had other suggestions, other ideas to throw at the table, we love to hear it.
Winnie, you're still muted. There you go.
Wondering about the item on the agenda saying wheels, meals on wheels. Is that something we're gonna discuss next?
The Meals on Wheels is Westborough Connect and Alma from the Senior Center. They're going to do that, Winnie. And so that's the discussion tomorrow at Westborough Connect's meeting.
Okay.
So we don't know how many meals are going to go out, but that is going to be addressed tomorrow in the Westborough Connect's meeting.
Mm-hmm. I guess we can, after the details is coming out, the plan is available. We as a committee can help on that as well. Because traditionally, and Thanksgiving Day, as Roberta, you and your family were doing at the Columbus nights. Mm-hmm. And this is something. Do you think this would be something similarly that we can serve the community and in terms of food and service?
We were talking about that, Winnie, in Westborough Connect with the task force about a week and a half ago. And we already had our committee on the Knights of Columbus on the Thanksgiving, and I didn't think that we should step on their toes because we've been doing it for so many years. And for the task force, the COVID-19 is having everybody staying in their houses. So we do about 140 at the Knights of Columbus, and about 44 meals go on wheels. And that's Alma side from the senior center. So what's going to happen, Winnie, when somebody wants a meal, we can't say no and a lot more people are staying in because of the COVID, and they don't want to cook for Thanksgiving. So they're afraid that, well, if this person can have a meal, then we can have a meal. So then we're going to feed the whole town. And we can't do that. It won't be fair to everybody. So that's why we shut everything down. The only reason why Elma is doing this is because of the senior center and the elderly that really don't have nowhere to go, and they don't have families. So they're taking care of their usual people, but we can't do it because we're going to open it up to the whole town, Winnie. So I think her caterer is going to do turkey pies or chicken pies is going out. And Elma's pretty well on top of that. But we had to close everything down, Winnie, because of people were afraid to get in the virus. You're touching food. There's a lot of risks behind it. And we just did not want to make anybody vulnerable, and especially in this time. I would do it, but a lot of people.
Yeah, I understand that. So knowing that, so I was focusing on more how can we be involved with Elma if she has enough hands to go around and send, or does she need more? No, I know tomorrow you guys are gonna discuss more on the details, but I'm just expressing my thoughts that we could help on that part.
She has a lot of volunteers, Winnie, at where she is at the senior center, because I reached out a couple of times and she's pretty well set, I think, until I ask her tomorrow on how she is and if she needs any volunteers. And if the Spirit Committee wants to help out, by all means, whoever's comfortable in helping out, we can.
Yeah, because I could gather some friends if she needed help, like
perfect,
students and families. Yeah,
I'll definitely tell her that if she needs any volunteers. Winnie, right.
Sure, we're here, so we're not going anywhere.
Right.
So
I think we should all pull as a community and help each other out as best as we can. Whoever's comfortable right now in doing it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Winnie.
Sure, you're welcome.
Anybody else? Maureen?
I'm good.
You're good? Gary?
On this topic or in general?
Both.
Well, on this topic, I think we can bring it to a close.
Okay.
I did want to ask a question about, are we going to do anything in the midwinter doldrums? You know, I know that Jenn is now owner of the golf course. You know, should we try to do a winter festival? I mean, all this stuff for me breaks down when you start talking about people coming together, and that's where I really struggle.
Right. Understandable.
Yeah, I think it'll be really hard, but once we're back up and running, there's a lot of plans at the golf course to, definitely this time next year, who knows where we'll all be, but there are big plans to do a lot of winter activities up at the golf course. Trying to think in rec what we've got going. We're just kind of on the edge of our seat waiting to see if we'll be able to have basketball or not.
Gary, did that explain to you when Jenn said about service and doing things for the community as what we should be doing on fireworks or
I heard the words, but I can't honestly say that they resonated for me. Right. I get that. I understand service, certainly from the Rotary's perspective, but I don't, what do we do as a group? We're the party planners. Okay. And at some level, you could say party planning gets into providing a service to the community. I'm not sure I want to have that conversation tonight. I think that could go on much longer.
Okay. What time?
And I just meant on that topic of like delivering food and stuff like that, that maybe was more, and that's why I probably felt like there were a lot of hands in the pot. Because I think there are a lot of good service based groups in town. But as far as events, it is hard. We are, and I know it's, I don't know, like we're just, it's hard to do this, what we're tasked to do,
Right.
with all of the limitations and stuff. So it feels like there's nothing to do, but in a normal year, I mean, we could have easily come up with a list of 20 things we'd want to do. Like we had right before this started, we had a bunch of ideas, like trivia nights and everything. It's just, it's tough.
A hall, you're right, Jen. We had everything lined up, and then we unfortunately got hit by the COVID. So right now we just have to ride the waves and see where we're needed, and take it from.
Let me throw where I get confused. And again, we don't have to talk about tonight, but the library did something really good with having a film at a parking lot in town. Okay. I was surprised that came from the library. I'm surprised it didn't come from either the Spirit Committee or, the rec department. I don't know who. My point is not to be critical of the library. I have no intent of doing that. I think the library does a great job, and Maureen, you know how I feel about that. But that is an example of something where I say that could have been done by many organizations in town. So I think it's important that the Spirit Committee kind of define its goals, roles, and responsibilities as a group. And during COVID may be a good time to do that, so that when we pop out of it, we are clearer on what we should be focused on and not have anyone's nose out of joint that someone else is doing something, because it's all good. I would hope, I don't know how we come out of this. Okay. I don't know if it's going to be a Charlie Baker declares it's behind us and now you all go out and party. But I would like to think that there will be a bunch of opportunities for a bunch of groups to do things, and that the residents will be overwhelmed with things, with opportunities. And that's a good problem to have. I think we as a group need to decide what it is we want to focus on.
No, right. I agree with you 100%. We've been talking about that. I definitely want to know what our roles are, and so nobody steps on each other's toes. Like, what does the recreation, does the library, Westborough Connect, Rotary, whatever clubs there is, because if we start planning things and then we tap into the volunteers and then we ask for money for fundraising, everybody's going to get depleted again. And I know how that felt with the 300th. I kind of went out, I asked for money and I kind of sliced it all out. And then when other organizations wanted volunteers and do fundraising, they're all tapped out. And especially now on COVID, they're totally tapped out for us to ask them to do anything. So I understand. I mean, if we get a clear-cut view, and we can discuss this in the next meeting, that could be on top of the agenda. But I kind of like to get something rolling, like the lights and all that. Well, Chris, I think that's going to be fun for everybody. It gets people out, gets families together. Just to see the lights will make people happy.
I do think that we need to be cautious as a group that we're not saying, and you didn't say this, Roberta, but it's how their homes are decorated. It's not about Christmas lights. It's not about Hanukkah bushes. We got to be completely generic on that.
Decorate with lights. Whatever you like to decorate your home with.
I don't think it has to be lights, is my point. I think some people, if they want to pull out the nutcrackers from Shopper's World from years ago, which many of you probably remember, and decorate their house and line them all up, and it happens to be something that you look at during the day, that's okay too.
Their home, they can do whatever they like.
Right.
I agree. The rest of you, Maureen, Jen? Okay.
So I am not sure about the wording. So I know winter festivals, are we kind of trying to be cautious not celebrating Christmas or like holiday, or what are we gonna, like, is it gonna be just saying holiday season or winter something break or because for me, I first of all I thought it was kind of for Christmas, but since Gary mentioned about this, and I know Diwali is coming, and by the time of December, maybe it's already passed for Diwali. But so I was wondering, if we see Christmas, would people be kind of like if people who are not celebrating Christmas would?
I think that's what we're saying. We're not saying it's Christmas. It's just winter celebration, winter fest. So whatever you celebrate, you could put out. I think that was, so we're specifically not saying Christmas. It's the winter. So just bring some joy, just decorate your home, however, whether that's a Santa Claus or, you know, something for Hanukkah or Diwali, whatever it is, just something that's festive and fun. You put an Easter bunny up.
How about
whatever, anything. I think we're specifically
right.
not saying Christmas for that reason.
We could say winter spectacular. We can say any catchy phrase as long as we don't hit Christmas or Happy Hanukkah, or it's something in general for everybody that will feel comfortable, Winnie.
Yeah, the Diwali Festival of Lights is this Saturday. I don't want any of us getting tripped up in being non-politically correct.
Right. We have to be real careful. I agree. Everybody.
Spectacular is a good one. Holiday, like, yeah, I like that.
Which one do you like, Winnie? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, sweetheart.
The winter spectacular that
you like the winter spectacular? I thought it was fest. I like catchy. Yeah. If everybody agrees with that, that's what we can call it.
Winter spectacular, was that it?
Yeah, winter spectacular. What do you guys think? Maureen? Jen?
Sure.
Yeah. Jen, you're okay with it? Gary?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what we'll call it. Does anybody else like to say anything else, or we might, it's, yeah, 6:54. So I guess we can all adjourn.
Before we do that,
yeah.
What about the next meeting? Should we get it on the books now?
Yeah, good idea.
I'm just looking at the agenda and following it, Roberta. I'm not throwing curveballs at anyone
at all. I'm glad. I'm glad when you do this. My mind is not here today. Okay, so let's look at the calendar. How about next week? How about same place, same time, Thursday? How does Thursday work for everybody?
I can't. Oh, so are we going to start meeting weekly, or is it going to go back to monthly? I just might have to look at me.
If we go monthly, Jen, then we can't really. I mean, it's up to everybody. I mean, if you guys want a week off and go to the following week.
I'm not meeting Thanksgiving Day.
Come on, why not?
Is this just for planning purposes, or is this how we think we're trending on a weekly basis? I just feel like my calendar has more meetings in it.
All right, okay, so let's.
So we can meet weekly. I just want so I can just kind of plan other things. If that's the consensus, that's fine. I just didn't. If we were going to go from a monthly to a weekly, I just that might be something worth talking about.
I want to make everybody comfortable, so. Of course, next week.
Why don't we do December 10th? That's about a month away.
Okay. I like that. September 10th is Thursday.
Oh, Winnie, did you have something to say?
Yes. I have a question regarding to what for Thanksgiving, what Westborough Connects are doing. I thought we are trying to find out what they are doing and how we can be involved. That's one thing. And the other thing is the Meals on Wheels, that program. I mean, I feel like there are a couple of things that there to be clarified before.
So what I'm going to do, Winnie, since Gary said I'm going to go and I'm going to check it out tomorrow myself. I'm going to call Hina or Kelley, and I'm going to call Alma. And if they need any help from us, I will email all of you so you guys will know what's going on. If Alma needs any help, then we can help her out if anybody wants to help her, or Westborough Connect, see what they're doing on the visual Thanksgiving. Let's see what they say, and then I can send out the email to all of you. How's that?
Yeah, I don't see a need for us to meet weekly. I think that, speaking for myself, I would have a huge problem with that.
I agree.
Monthly feels about the right cadence, and I think please, town officials, I'll put that in quotes, keep me honest. But I think that if an email goes to Connects and comes back saying this is how you can volunteer, that can be sent out. And, you know, if we had a Facebook page, we could put it on there and let people know.
Right.
Same thing with the Winter Spectacular that Jenn's going to drive, from the standpoint of putting together something to send out and whatnot. I'm not trying to make it your issue, Jenn. I'm just saying that's, you know, kind of where we ended up. I don't have a need for us to meet can we review the artwork and all that? I mean, if that's an open meeting rule violation, then please dope slap me. But I think in between the monthly formal meetings, that an email should be able to suffice. And if it gets to be something where we've got to vote or spend money, whatever, we've got to wait for a meeting for that.
Right.
Agreed. That's the good thing about this virtual stuff. It's really easy. Like the stuff that we've been doing in rec, like we did a virtual 5K. It's like no work. You push it out and it's up to people. So I can send out the link to the webpage where people can register their homes, and then we can all just start promoting it on our own channels, like through the library, through Westborough Connects and Heart of Westborough, whatever. Okay. And then we'll start. And then if we meet again December 10th, which is about a month away, we can kind of say, hey, these are how many homes have registered. And I'm willing, and I can easily share if people want to know, like weekly, how many people have signed up. But
and there's always the option, if we feel like we need to meet to discuss something, we just have to post it 48 hours. It's not a big deal.
Absolutely. I agree. Because we don't want to get burnt out. I mean, the holidays are approaching all of us, and it's going to be a different holiday for all of us. So I agree with all of you. I think that's a great idea. I think meeting December 10th at the same time at 6 o'clock, if that works for all of you, that's what we'll do.
Perfect.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Beautiful. December 10th, Thursday at 6 o'clock.
Awesome.
What I'd like to suggest people think about for that meeting is what are things that we can do after the first of the year.
Right.
I mean, right now, everything has to be virtual. So are there virtual spirit things that we could be doing that would be valuable to the community as opposed to everyone turtling? So I would, as a member of the Spirit Committee, ask everyone to take that as a homework assignment for the next meeting.
Most definitely.
Love that idea.
I feel like in order to assist that discussion, I mean, somehow if we have some sort of, like, I know most of you, all of you probably knows what the other organizations are doing in town, so that we don't like for me, I don't need to kind of, you know, suggest anything that other clubs are doing. You know, I mean, if we could have a list of or some sort of information with that would be great. Also, I kind of
hey Winnie, I'm sorry to cut you off. Can you check where your microphone is, because it is really hard to hear you?
Okay, let me plug in my earphone.
Because I almost thought that it might have been under your jacket or vest.
Is it better?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me. I sometimes forgot to do that. But yeah, I was just trying to say two things. One, that if we have a general list of what other clubs and organizations are doing over the year, then we kind of, we don't need to step in their toes, and then we go with the rest of the events that's not being on their list. And second, I remember Alan a couple of times ago, meeting ago, did he mention about he would like Spirit Committee to take on some specific, like, did he mention about fall festival, something like that, like he wanted us to take up? We have the minutes, we can go back.
The Westborough Rotary Club used to do a spring festival, and then it became the fall festival, and then it became not happening at all. And I think that in my recollection of Alan's commentary was that he was asking us to reinvigorate that.
Okay, yeah. So that might be something, one of the things that we can talk about next time. Yeah, but I remember a couple of last year when we were having some of the talking about, we call it Westborough Spirit Festival, something like that. I think that's some of the ideas from there. Some of them could be shared, right, Roberta?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I totally agree with you, Winnie. We can go look in our records when we were meeting together back then. And I remember the trivia. We can even have it through virtual, we can do it like this. We had the comedian Gary come in, and then we can live broadcast it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I think it's important to know what the community wants.
Right.
Heart of Westborough did some musical things. I know that we had the comedian come on. I don't know at the end of the day if that's what the community wants. And I'm saying that based on the number of people that looked at it. The Lissa Coulter was literally a concert. And if you like her music, that's great. The comedian, I don't know how many people looked at it.
Right. I mean, people did look at it, at the views that I saw, Gary, but we don't know if they stayed there for the whole. Well, what we used to do on the Spirit Committee, what I used to do and what I'm doing in the Heart of Westborough, I try to get people to engage on what they want us to do in a community. What do they like? What do they want to see? Obviously, we can't do it right now, but that's what we can do. We can put it up on the walls. We can say, hey, what do you like to do in Westborough? What's your favorite thing to do? You want to see bands? You want to do fireworks, which we all know they want fireworks, and we all know they want block parties, but we can't do it right now. So what can we do to entertain them? And I think that's what we have to shoot out.
The other thing I would share, and this is from my own perspective, my attention span for looking at a screen is limited. I start to get antsy at half an hour, and we're coming up on an hour now, and I'm really antsy. I don't know if someone wants to sit for an hour and play a trivia game. Maybe they do. And if they do, then great. We should do that. I think that in the virtual environment, people's attention span is much shorter.
Right. But just throw out those suggestions, Gary, and see if they answer. If they don't answer, no big deal. But we could throw it out and say, what do you like doing, Westborough? And then they'll just come in and answer. Let's see what they say.
Yep. Great.
How's that?
That sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to be meeting adjourn. What do you think, girls and men?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay. Great meeting, guys. I'll see you guys December 10th. We'll keep in contact, and I will get the information tomorrow, and I'll send everybody an email. How's that?
Sounds great.
Thank you so much, Roberta.
Have a great night. It's great seeing you all.
Thank you.
You too.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.